Hey, what's up, guys? Sean here with Blue Ridge. Hope everyone's doing well. All right, so I wanted to take some time to talk about five of the hottest trends right now in 2023 that people are capitalizing in numismatics to make a living, make money. All right, and I get this question all the time. How are people making money in the hobby today? Because what was once good yesterday may not be so good today. To kind of give you an idea, silver has dropped a little bit over the last 45 to 60 days. As a result, the premiums have come down. But does that make it necessarily something that we could take advantage of today? Probably not as effective as it was 2 months ago. So sometimes with a hobby, in those particular instances, there are things that you need to do on the fly. And if all you're doing is wheeling and dealing silver, it may not be the most equitable thing for you to do today. You always want to diversify with like three or four different things in the hobby and just continuously rotate all of this around. Now, the kind of the homer pick is, oh, I should just open a coin shop. No, you should not do that. All right. You've always heard these days of coin shops closing, right? I would say a fair amount of folks that actually still operate a brick and mortar today. Probably they're very along in their years. They're 50, 60, 70, 80 years old. And very seldom do you ever hear of someone opening up a new coin shop today because there are so many other better, different ways to sell coins in the hobby. And that kind of brings me to my number 5 pick, and that is social media. All right. Social media encompasses a lot of things, okay? Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Leveraging social media in the hobby has a lot of beneficial outcomes. You can make money off of the advertising revenue. Um, you could convert your business that maybe at one point was in a brick and mortar, but after sitting down and doing the numbers, how much is a lease every month, how much are marketing, how much is marketing, blah, 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 this and that. Kind of like the old school 1980s, 1990s way of kind of doing business is in what's in those brick and mortars. And it may not necessarily be the best thing today. I can tell you right now, it's not. Again, more physical brick and mortar coin shops are closing than they are opening. Okay. Yeah. So leveraging your social media. Some of you already know that I saw on a platform called Whatnot. All right. Whatnot is a great service to sell your coins, currency, and other collectibles. But it sure as heck beats having a physical brick and mortar that you have to drive to every single day in the morning, open the shop, put all your coins out in the case, and sit there and pretend and hope that you have a customer, because coin shops aren't exactly the type of place where you have a fire drill of people coming in around the clock. Sometimes you'll have little spurts here and there, but it's not the bell of the ball, I suppose. So leveraging some of the auction sites. I guess social media probably isn't the appropriate word to use for this, as it is more of the auction world that we know it today. However, social media plays a huge role in this because people do coin auctions on YouTube. They sell on BST sites on Facebook. There's a bunch of different coin related groups that people sell on. and I'm on them every single day. I see the general landscape, and that's where things are moving towards. People want more automation. They want more of being behind a camera. They want to be in the comfort of their own home and not have to actually step into an office for 8 hours a day. I mean, that's silly old world kind of like business thinking, and that's not where we're at today. So leverage what you have available online to sell your product, and that's how a good majority of people are selling their coins and currency. And it also helps knowing that some of the coins that's really hard to sell through a brick and mortar, you could have a much better success rate selling online because you have more access to more people at any given time. You could have 100 people looking at that one single coin per hour as opposed to maybe one person that comes into a shop, between the hours of noon and 4, looking at maybe 10 different items, and there's no guarantee that that person will be buying, items. So definitely leverage that. I would say that if you're not doing any of that, I think the other 4 points that I'm going to make probably won't fit in very well to what you guys are doing right now, because I think of the important kind of like kickoff leverage point to this whole thing is that you need a place to sell this. You know, you really do, and a lot of that is online today. So please, definitely be flexible and use the world of the internet that you possibly can, because marketing is, in a way, kind of free. The very thing that we used to pay many tens of thousands of dollars to do back in the 80s and 90s, you have access at your fingertips, just like that. So, a second thing that people are doing today in 2023 that people are making money off of, you probably heard me say this like a broken record, and people are still going to the banks and they're picking up product from the bank. They're paying face value for things like bank boxes of half dollars, pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters. They're buying fresh BEP straps of dollar bills, fives, tens, 20s. By the way, the brand new 2021 ones, twos, and fives are currently out in circulation, and people have been finding a lot of great stuff. And furthermore, they're using the power of the internet to sell just the bank straps for about 2 to 3 times face value. Oh, what a novel idea that is. Again, it sounds like a broken record every time I bring that up. But yeah, people are still hunting through the boxes. I think hunting through the boxes used to be something that was very popular back in like 2005 to 2010, right? Because people were still looking for silver. They were still hunting through, putting together albums of Lincoln cent coins and things like that. But today, what I try and tell folks to do, and I've had a number of people that have great success at doing so, is that they're buying the actual product, keeping it sealed from the bank, and then flipping either the whole box online, like on eBay, or they're selling the rolls individually. I know the brand new 2023 Lincoln Cents, as of right now, are pretty hot. You could sell a lot of 10 rolls, which is $5 face value, for about $25. So you're converting $5 and you're turning it into $25, and you do that enough times, that's yet again another supplemental part of this business where you can make kind of like that side money. It's not quite exactly passive income. I think that's more of where YouTube comes into play. If you're an educator like I am, or if you're on there doing YouTube coin auction streams and live streams and things like that, where you get paid kind of like super chat money and all that great stuff, that's again, that kind of like plays hand in hand when we're talking about buying bank product. And that, again, you've heard me say this time and time again. What I like most about buying those brand new sealed boxes of nothing but 2023 Lincoln cents or 2023 nickels is that they are called sealed equity. Those are boxes. I mean, if you don't need the money, you could store away in your garage or in a safe. And 10 years later on down the road, that box will be worth a lot more money. In certain cases, 2, 3, 4x what the face value is. And that is in large part to the fact that a lot of these boxes were broken up through merchant transactions, getting businesses the coin that they need to sustain normal everyday operations. So, yeah, that's the second point I wanted to bring up there. The third one, that believe it or not, has a lot of legs still, and you would think that something like this would have died off a long time ago, but doing the show circuits, going to all the big shows, taking part in all that, essentially being a traveling dealer. A traveling dealer, what I like most about that premise, and I actually did this in the early 2000s, and if it wasn't for the fact that I was working a full-time job and doing it, I probably would be doing it more. But going and buying and selling inventory through the show circuits without actually having a physical brick and mortar, and you're just operating out of your own home, you're keeping your coins in a safe or in a safe deposit box or something to that effect. But there's a lot of people that I know of that they are considered dealers. They moonlight selling on Facebook, on buy sell trade groups. They maybe have a website. I know a lot of people that own a website to sell their coins and currency, yet that they operate out of their own house. So they run it either as an LLC or a sole proprietorship. And then, they'll go out to the show circuit. They'll go to, depending, I guess, on what their mobility is. If someone lives out in the Midwest, like a few people I know of, they'll check out the Chicago World's Fair of Money, or they'll go check out, maybe this other show that's, in the Midwest, or one in Texas, or wherever it may be. Or maybe they might do all the big shows. They might do Long Beach. They might do the FUN show in Tampa or Orlando, wherever they have it. The Pittsburgh is the money show, the ANA money show is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania this year. And then there's the Baltimore Whitman show. I mean, there are a lot of shows that happen all throughout the year, and a lot of the dealers, they'll go to each one of those and they'll travel. And it's a business that they're proud of doing. They make a lot of money doing it because they're sourcing coins from one to the other. And this is going to get into my second to last point that I think you guys will really like, that a lot of people are doing. But actually, and sure, it might seem daunting and a little overwhelming because you're arranging travel arrangements, you have to spend your own money, and that's probably where the previous two kind of like points fit into here, because you have to build up your wealth of income, right, before you could begin to do this one thing that could really elevate what you do in your business to this whole other level. Because once you're able to spend 10, 20, 30, $50,000 on coins by going to a show and then sorting through them and either placing them on your website, or maybe you're doing auctions or whatnot streams, or I guess there's eBay Live now, which is similar to whatnot. And by the way, I will never use eBay Live. You guys can shoot me an email or comment down below if you want to know more. Then I'll type it in there. Sorry, I think that's probably my dog barking up a storm outside. I don't know if you guys hear that, but yeah, being totally active in the dealer scene and going to shows and coin shops, okay, and just diversifying your product. You're getting new, fresh inventory for whatever it is you got going. And I would say part of that number 3 point is also developing a website of some sort, or some other type of e-commerce flow-through site. It may not be necessarily a website with its own URL, that's specific and branded to you, but maybe you do something maybe on, Shopify or, Amazon, or, just an eBay presence will be sufficient. So we got two more points, and they are some of the coolest, and a lot of people are taking advantage of doing these. And the second one, people are actually going out and buying collections from people that are selling them. All right, so they're a dual purpose type kind of player in the game. They are a consultant, so it would help if you got your, I guess, your appraiser's license and all that, so that way you could appraise and make that kind of money doing that. It's always to be licensed, bonded, and insured when you're an appraiser. But most of the appraisal work has a lot more to do with the insurance value of it. So if someone has a nice size collection, they needed an actual it may be notarized document, showing what their appraised value is on all their coins, and then they have to submit it to their insurance writer or whoever that is that they're using to ensure that their property is covered in the event of theft or fire or some sort of disaster. That's where you come into play. You could be that person. Appraisers actually make pretty decent money, surprisingly. Consultants, as you guys know, I do these 45, 60-minute consultant sessions through Calendly. And it used to be I was charging $45 for a session, and people just kept saying, you're worth a whole lot more in this. So I bumped it up to 60, and now I have more people coming in. I haven't opened up my availability yet, not until this fall, but I'll open that up so that way we can have more one-on-one conversations with myself. I'm just really not in a place where I'm available to do more of those currently. It's actually surprisingly busy. Plus, I got family stuff during the summer. So, yeah, consulting, appraising is really high up there on ways that people are making money that are currently in the hobby. Again, I would suggest that you get some sort of appraisal license and go through that process, and it's really not all that hard. And then finally, the last thing that people are doing where they're making money, coin grading, is undeniably hot today. And you could kind of look at it from all avenues. And no, I'm not talking about grading the ultra modern Lincoln cents that you hear me talking about on the Monday Market Report. That is what they call the definition of insanity. All right. We don't have to go there. We all know what it is. That's a horse that's been beaten to death and 10 times over since the dawn of man and women. But yeah, grading coins, especially if you did a good job at your number two thing and you're cherry picking a lot of raw coins. Like, why isn't that coin in a graded holder? Enter in our good economy bargain bin 1923 peace dollar right here. Like, at one point, because this is a much more modern NGC holder from the hologram and the design style of the holder, this thing was outside of a holder for a really long time. You could tell because it's got really thick toning. Now, if you were a really good traveling dealer and you saw this in the dealer case raw for maybe $50, okay, there's two lines of thinking here that's happening, all right? You're going to be like, wow, they're asking $50 for that crusty old thing. 1923 isn't exactly a rare date. It's actually one of the more common dates of peace dollars. Or if you've done your homework, all right, and I would say education is always going to be at the top of the list of one of the most important things that you could implement into your business if you want to be successful in numismatics. You're going to know that original toned peace dollars are a rarity because these things were not held in GSA hoards. These were not at Fed Reserve banks the same way that the Morgan dollars were. All right, enter in a Morgan dollar. Hello, right there. By the way, that's only a Mid-State 63, but you could find really good deals on those today. That's all reflective of just the oversaturation of the marketplace of Mid-State 63 Morgans. But you identify coins that you've cherry-picked all throughout your travels, and you have to feel comfortable with spending money to make money. All right? This is one of those videos where it's like, oh yeah, the 3 steps to being successful in numismatics without spending one dime, it does not exist. That's not what this video is about. But being comfortable with investing money into your inventory, and then also investing money into those specialized services, which, if you've done your homework as a sole proprietorship or an LLC, when you go to do your business taxes at the end of the year, you could write off things like mileage and expense out food and hotel and airfare and doing mileage on your car if you're using your own personal car, but also grading as well. Grading is a professional service that you could write off at the end of the year, get that taxable income down. Because if you're going to be making a shitload of money, you might as well be doing it legit. All right. And don't forget to pay your quarterly taxes, folks. But yes, the grading scene is absolutely undeniably hot right now. All right. And it's been hot since the beginning of the pandemic, and then going back many years before that, probably since the Great Recession, as they call it, of 2009 or whenever that was. But part of that element is that, and if you've done your homework, if you're at coin shows and you come across an early PCGS graded coin that maybe has a doily holder and they're not charging a premium for it, you can buy those up. And a common date Morgan or Peace Dollar or Buffalo Nickel in a doily holder, which is just a current or type of generation of label that they used to use back in like the late 80s, early 90s, or whenever that was. Those slabs sell for like $300-400, in spite of the fact that maybe you spent $40 on that coin with the doily holder. All right. There are some dealers, some people that don't know that association between, some people always say, well, you got to focus more on the coin. Well, there are people that collect holders too. All right. And the doily holder is one of the most fascinating, most popular designed of labels and holders that you ever come across. And then back in the day, when PCGS first was born, they used to use white labels. And those particular coins are ridiculously expensive. They sell very easily for thousands of dollars, even though the coin in the thing is worth no more than $50. So yeah, grading has a lot of nuances. You're grading coins that are raw, that you pick up at the show circuit or through a dealer or through a collection, that will have a lot more value when they're inside that graded holder. And again, we're all kind of like, well, there's too much predication on grading these days, but that's where the money is. All right. You follow the trail of money, you just sniff it like a hound dog. All right. But also people are taking coins that they feel are undergraded, that maybe have toning. Maybe it's an older generation holder, much like this PCGS holder, which is considerably older. I don't know if I have a newer one, and I don't. Of course, I don't have a new. Oh, actually, I do. So, do you see the difference here in the style of hologram? This is the newer one. This is the current generation. This one was probably graded about 25 years ago. Now, the idea is that the older generation coins were highly undergraded. All right, so people would crack out coins out of here if they have the look to it, and then regrade it in today's holder and possibly get maybe a 1 to 2 point bump. Okay, and then you could certainly elevate a coin that maybe is worth, and I'm just using this as example, although this coin's worth about $75, but what if it was a better date? What if this was a Carson City Morgan, like in 1884, and you had paid maybe $350 for it, in a 63 holder, in a maybe Rattler, kind of generation holder from the 80s. But it looks much better than that. And then you crack it out of the holder, you send it off to PCGS again, and it comes back 65 plus. Oh, now we're talking. We're going to go from that $350 coin to maybe $700-800. And that is just one instance of one coin that makes, a few $300-400, because you still need to sell it. And then there's fees involved, and then you have to, kind of pull back some of the money so that way you can put it toward paying quarterly taxes, okay? Because there's capital gains and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool that these are kind of the things that are very progressive and popular today in numismatics. And if you guys were looking to take advantage of it, you start at number 5, the first couple points that I made right there at the onset of the video, and then you work your way to buying collections and working the road and doing more grading and really getting comfortable with the things that because you've never spent that kind of money, you feel like there's a lot of risk involved when there really isn't. You just have to feel confident in yourself. You always have to continuously learn. The grading process is marquee. I'm telling you, as soon as you master the way of identifying a coin that's been cleaned and one that is truly, genuinely mid-state, problem-free, you will win and hit many home runs in your career as the dirty. So that's why I wanted to talk about in this video. Hopefully you guys got a few takeaways from what I had to talk about. A lot of great stuff, guys. And there's no reason why you shouldn't try this. Now, if you're absolutely broke, with no extra money to spend, start from the very beginning. There's no shame in taking the first 6 to 12 months in building your empire. So you definitely need $50 to $100 to make things happen. But you always buy the best that you can for the money that you have. All right, at the very beginning. Don't buy massive quantities of stuff that are all subpar quality. Make sure that you're going all out on what you can with that first $50 or $100 and just flipping it, turning that $50 bill into 75, turning that 75 into maybe 100, 125, turning the 125 to 175, 200, and you just continuously build up. The one coin that you had started out with, you're going to get to a point where you've made like $500 off of a coin where that originated as $25, and then you guys get the big picture. Then you can split up that 500. You can buy multiple coins, continue the process, and it's just a very organic way of building the dream. And anybody can do this. Money is floating all around out there. All right, a lot of it is selling for big money straight from the bank. So why not take advantage of that? And some people just need to do it and not feel like that it's not going to work out, or maybe they have a little phobia about confronting a teller or a branch manager. Just do it. All right, you're going to get a whole bunch of fat no's, but you are going to get a yes. It's going to be the biggest, most satisfying thing that you are ever going to experience. Every time a first of something happens in your life that's so positive, it's going to be the best thing that's ever happened. It's going to be the ultimate adrenaline rush. The endorphins are going to be running through your body because, you just took that $50 coin and doubled up on it. It's a reality, folks. Go out there and do it. Treat it as your own, and it will pay dividends. Guarantee it. It's happened to guys like me and others. So thank you for tuning in and watching my diatribe rant. You guys take care. Have a good one, and I'll see you on the next coin video. All right, you guys take care.